owner and founder of the Spiral Staircase, and we are so excited to have you here today. So, Spiral Staircase, for those of you who don't know us, I see some old friends and some new friends. So we are first and foremost a women's club. I felt that everywhere else in Tampa was catered way too much for the men. We're offering an event venue space because I might be biased, but I think she's pretty and we love a good party. So yeah, we love doing things with our community. We love to collaborate with our women-owned businesses. So getting to be with Dillards tonight and all of the amazing women who founded all these beautiful brands is just a dream come true. I remember when I was a little girl, my mom would always take me to Dillards. It was always our favorite spot. So I didn't even get to tell her that we were having an event like this. So she'll be super proud just for that. Maybe not for the rest of it. But I'm very, very excited to have you. So yeah, if anybody would like a tour or wants to learn more, please come and find me or Diana. She's around here too. But I am going to let these beautiful ladies take the show because it is about this tonight. So thank you.
Hi everyone. Yes. I wish we had it in Atlanta, which is where I live. So I'm Alexandra Dillard, and I am the granddaughter of our founder, William Dillard. Our company was founded in 1938 in a very tiny town of Nashville, Arkansas. And today we are the third generation that is helping to lead our department store forward. And one of the projects that we've been most excited about is creating the Coterie Shop, which is what all of these lovely ladies are representing here today. The Coterie Shop was founded as a place for us to incubate and grow and nurture some really fantastic female-founded brands that didn't have exceptional distribution or at oftentimes zero wholesale distribution at all outside of their own D2C channels or pop-up shops. And we searched high and low for some of the greatest talents that we could find. All of the women up here tonight really represent the Coterie Shop so beautifully. They are artisans, they are visionaries, they are creatives. They have put so many beautiful pieces into our stores that feel extremely special and unique. So I really encourage you tonight to take a very close look at all of these beautiful garments they have made. Look at the inside, the detail they put into it, their hang tags, their labels, the prints that they design. Molly, for example, makes all of the prints. So it's really, really special, and we're so honored that they have entrusted Dillards as either the only department store that they work with, or at times the only wholesaler that they work with at all. So we are but we are so honored to have them here. We had another event very similar to this in Charlotte. It was a huge, huge hit, and we're lucky to have our great hostess here.
Yes.
Hostess, right?
Yeah.
Yes. No. So we're so honored. She is incredible at really asking these girls some great questions, getting to know who they are and why they started their brand. So without further ado, I'll let you take over and introduce our amazing group. And we're honored to have you guys. Thank you so much for working with us.
Thank you. Well, hello everyone. Thank you all so much for being here, and especially thank you to the Dillards team before we get started. I am from Philadelphia and we don't have a Dillards up there, so whenever I go to the South, I visit the local Dillards and of course shop online. But today I went over to the Tampa store. I saw some familiar faces, and I just have to say what you and your team, everyone in this room who works for Dillards is doing is so special. And I am Patricia May Olson. I am the host of the Preppy Podcast. So each Tuesday, I interview the brands, businesses, and influencers keeping the modern preppy lifestyle alive. And I'm thrilled to be up here today with these amazing entrepreneurs and women in business. So I have Parul from Mo Maya here. I have Morgan from Buru. And then I have Abby from Abby Glass and Molly from Crosby by Molly Birch. And let's get started. Just FYI, things are getting videoed and audio is recorded because for people who aren't able to make it tonight, they can listen and watch the podcast after the fact. So first of all, the Coterie Shop is a shop with a story. So today we're going to learn more about these ladies and their story behind the brand. I want to start with kind of an easy question. So the first being, what's one word you would each use to describe your brand? You want to start first?
Yeah. I would say quirky.
That's a good one, yeah. distinct. I think we hear a lot, oh, it's so different, we haven't seen anything like that, and I feel like I love being different, but distinct sort of takes it to the next level. I'm going to give you 2 words. Playful elegance. So I think there's something beautiful about something that you know and that's a new spin on it. So I love timeless style and design, but I enjoy the spin on it.
And I'm going to say fun. One of our biggest mottos is getting dressed should be fun, and we absolutely believe in that there should be joy in getting dressed, and you should feel great and feel celebrated in what you're wearing.
Like, those are all great answers, and I love how everyone styled each of your pieces that you created so differently, and I look around the room and I see the same thing. So many of these amazing designers' pieces out here, all styled to fit you. So my next question is, what's something that's exciting to you guys right now? Whether it's a trend in fashion, a trend on social media, or maybe a collection you've been working on, or something that just got released. Why don't we start at the opposite end this time, Molly?
Something exciting. I mean, I always love going into the holiday season just because I think it's so fun to design holiday collections. I feel like everyone's, it's just the glitz and the glam and really leaning into, holiday parties. So we have really excited for our holiday collections to launch. And with that, we also have some special birthday capsule pieces. We just celebrated our 10th birthday 2 weeks ago. So we have a really special collection which Dillards bought, most of. So we're really excited to display that and share that with all of you. Each piece has such sentimental value and really just kind of has the thread of our business, over the last 10 years living through it. So excited for, those pieces to be out in the world and worn to parties.
I think I jammed your team because you wore this hot pink piece with like little circle disc on the bottom. I'm like, I need to know, is that part of the collection?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the mom's party dress in Molly pink, our signature pink.
Noted. Abby, what about you? What's something exciting to you right now?
Well, what comes to mind in fashion that I've always been in love with is matching sets. I know that goes around and around, and I'm so glad that it's back. We have a lot of kind of fun suits. I love evening separates. That's like something that I've always advocated for, and I love that if you buy a matching look, you can wear it super dressed up because it's like the head to toe moment, or you can wear a skirt or a jacket with something more casual. So I love like bringing those pieces into your wardrobe for a special occasion, but then being able to wear them again and again. So
You have some great sets, and I wore one earlier actually when I was at the Dillards store here, and I got so many compliments on it. So you're definitely great with those sets. What about you?
I've been traveling a lot, something that I do a lot in general, and I think I've been so excited to see, and I see a lot of customers when I'm doing these travels, so excited to see women pushing the envelope. For so long, we were really dressing casual all the time, and I don't think that was just because of COVID. I think that we just took a step back and became so casual. And we're consistently with our messaging saying wear what you want, have fun with it, but also realizing it's just an outfit. If you mess up, just don't wear it again. You don't have to take it so seriously, and I'm starting to see that happen. And I'm so excited to see women getting dressed again, and it's okay to make an effort. It's okay if you're the most dressed up at the soccer field.
Speaking of sets, I always wear your sets when I travel because they're comfortable, but they're elevated, and I love that fact of like getting dressed up again. And yeah,
So really good one over here.
I think for me, quite excited about my new collection, and then some of the old prints that are coming back, like polka dots, are back in fashion. So I was excited about that collection, and just being in Singapore, I don't get to design a lot winter and summer because it's always tropical. But it's just for me, I think still going with colors and spray a lot of pinks and more bright colors. So that's what my next collection is, and polka dots.
Yes, I love polka dots. They're such a classic print. So you're all part of the Dillards Coterie shop. What does that mean to you? How does that help your brand, elevate your brand, or what is that doing for you guys? I'm curious. Marie, you can start this one?
Sure. So when Alexandra was talking, Dillards is our only wholesale or retail partner. however you actually use the words there. And it took a long time for us to be comfortable to do it, to grow in this way, and they have been so lovely and encouraging their entire team every step of the way. And I think it's because the undercurrent of all of it is family and heritage and building something. We're not a brand that wants to sell. We would like to build a family business. And we see that in their entire ethos. We completely are. We admire it, and we're so happy to be part of it. We're a family business. My husband and I are partners. And we hire a lot of family members. Sometimes our team members just feel like family. But that was so important to us beyond just, how the beautiful brands that they are, putting in the matrix together. It's really just how their team operates and the family behind it.
I think when you own a business, whatever business it is, your family becomes part of the family business, whether they want to or not. Also, I was texting my husband earlier, I'm like, how do I trademark whatever? So even though, he doesn't actually do business with me, but putting him to work. Abby, what about you? What does Dillards do to you?
Yeah, I would love to second everything that Morgan said. I also want to point out how hard it is to do retail at scale. We all are building businesses from the ground up, and to see Dillards, that's been a business for so many years, do so many things so right. And even I go into the Dillards store a lot, and I have amazing service. There's new product that I can't find anywhere else. Like, there's so many things about retail that are really hard to do, and I think there's something really special about being a part of a retailer that's like always trying to be doing things right and staying with the customer top of mind. That's the other important thing, is like being really close to your customer. And I think Dillards does a great job really understanding who she is and always knowing how to serve her better. So it's been amazing to be on a more national stage at a small brand. And yeah, it's been an incredible blessing to our business.
Well, to the point that I was saying earlier, the Dillards team, like I mentioned, I was walking around the store and I was wearing one of your Abby Glass sets, and Kayla, I don't know where she is, somewhere around here, but she stopped me and she was like, oh, you're wearing Abby Glass. Like, she didn't know who I was at that point, that I'd be here tonight. And so that detail of knowing your designers and representing all of you, I think is so special. Molly, what about you?
Well, yes, would echo what both Morgan and Abby have said, for sure. And I think, another thing that I just so greatly appreciate about Dillards is it's not just a transaction. We do sell a lot of wholesale. We have a big wholesale business. It's all, more one-off boutiques. This is our only big retailer, and I think it would be so easy for us to go into, or I think it's, maybe typical to assume that you go into some national retailer, it's all about the numbers. It's all about the bottom line. There may be, corners being cut anywhere that there can be, and it could not be more opposite of a relationship with Dillards. They're not just buying into the product, they're buying into us as brand, representatives, designers, visionaries, creatives. I mean, they have life-size posters of us in every store. They care as much about, us and what we're building and the story behind that as they do the actual product we're putting out there. And, I think in this day and age, it's so important. People want to buy into a story. They want to buy into more than just, grabbing a piece of clothing here and there. So that is something that I've so greatly valued. And their whole team just could not be more wonderful to work with, and it really has been, just a blessing of an experience, like Abby said.
Now, what about you? I'm curious, because you're working from overseas technically with the team too, so
Yeah.
what's it like being part of it?
One, I'll agree with everything you guys said, and it's so true. And then for me, because my brand is based in Singapore, this is the biggest way to enter into the US market. I would not have had this opportunity if it wasn't for Dillards. And just to get that level of exposure. And like you guys said, it's also how they make you feel included, and every time you have a new collection and everything, the opinion matters to the team, and it just feels like you're working together towards something, and they really want the best for your brand. And more than that, it's also, I've learned so much working with Dillards on even about my own designs and how customers react to it, or how certain seasons work better, certain silhouettes work better for. So I'm actually learning while working with them, besides the business part of it. So yeah, it's been a blessing, like I said.
So I have some questions for each of you guys now, these designers up here, specific to them. And I'm actually going to start with you again. So I don't know if you guys know this about Rule, but if you go and listen to the Preppy podcast, I have a full episode on most of these designers actually, and you have quite an impressive background, completely not in fashion to begin with. So what transferable skills do you think from your background has helped with this business being in fashion?
So just to give you a bit of background, I did my graduate studies at Georgetown in biotech, and then I was working in patent law in life sciences for a while. Basically doing deals for patents we would take from the university and then license it to companies or startups around it. So I think the one thing I'll say is, because in that job I had to understand the technologies really well and then kind of pitch it to investors or companies, hey, buy. And so it's kind of similar with the clothes. I guess I understand the silhouettes or my designs, and then when I look at a customer walking into my showroom or a certain market, I can see what will suit that woman, and then I'm able to suggest or design around it. I guess that's one, but more than that, it's I would say analytical in terms of pattern making or just attention to detail. I mean, there's many skills, but the last one I would say is problem solving. As you would know, in business or when you're designing clothes or producing them, there's I say our factories, they find the most creative way to make up a new problem. So every production cycle, every production, there'll be something that you would have never anticipated. I was just telling you guys, this time, usually our length of the skirt is 40 inches. This time I got one for 50 inches. So I mean, who came up with this? I mean, we're 8 feet tall people. So it's like problem solving. Then what do you do? So I would, say, quite a few transferable skills.
I'm sure selling fashion and clothes though is a lot more fun than what you were previously doing. So
Yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Molly, I know just from talking with you a few months ago and following you on social media, you recently switched your manufacturing, right? Can you talk a little bit, I mean, without getting too in the weeds here about tariffs and all of that,
Might be
I don't
really
think we need to
champagne.
I don't think we need to get into that, but really more about the importance of being nimble as a business owner and having a plan B and being able to switch, right?
Yeah. Yes, I would say the theme this year has definitely been needing to be nimble and pivot. I'm very dizzy from all the pivoting this last year. As you know, everyone is probably aware, tariffs have, I know, affected all of our businesses just in crazy ways, and it's every day is a new day with, the unknown and the unexpected. So yes, we've been working to, move manufacturing around a bit to just kind of diversify, where product is coming from and to just sort of, mitigate that risk where we can. But I've learned a lot from it and wish I, maybe knew more at this point in time. But I think, I'm someone who is not comfortable with the unknown. And so the sort of day-to-day unknown of this, and it's something that's so out of all of our control. I know as much as Morgan knows, who knows as much as Abby knows. It's crazy. And so I think learning certainly to be nimble, but also to be smart but not too reactive has been something that I think, since April when the tariffs were first announced to now, I am not as reactive now as I maybe was then. And we've been, yes, you have to be smart and make changes and be nimble and be flexible, and I think always staying on your toes with a plan B is important, but also not kind of letting yourself sit on it and sit in the uncomfortable for a moment before, making these huge dramatic business changing, decisions. That is definitely a place where I can say I am today versus, the spring of this year.
Yes. I feel like that's advice with anything sometimes, if you get a complaint or something like that, your immediate reaction is to respond. Sometimes it's better to sit back, think it through more thoroughly and then figure out the plan B. Morgan, you and I have been on a world tour the past 2 weeks. We were both in Charleston and Palm Beach last week, and now we're here. But you opened a new store in Palm Beach. So, and you've been having stores pop up, I feel all the time recently, which is so amazing. And just so great to see you grow. I'm curious, when you're the face of your brand, how do you keep up with that growth while still, staying true to who you are, who your brand is, and keep showing up for customers as you grow?
So the first thing is I just am who I am, for better or worse. I don't have like a persona that's on social media that's not who I am when you meet me. I don't redo any videos I film because I want it to be as authentic as possible. So I think that showing up and our brand being authentically who we are is a piece of that. We have opened 3 stores in 1 calendar year, which seems kind of insane. We opened on the Upper East Side of New York, in the Charleston place in Charleston, and then just on Friday on North Avenue in Palm Beach. They're all little jewel boxes, and the idea was for us to be able to present our brand in a more cohesive way than you just get through the little screens. Dillards has obviously opened up so many eyeballs for us, which is incredible, and I design exclusive things for Dillards, so you won't ever see crossover even from what's on our website or in the stores, which is why I think it's such a cool partnership in so many ways. When I grew up, my parents were always saying you have to be present to win, and it's just in my brain constantly. I think my children would probably like if I was a little more present this past week for them, but I know that there's no such thing as balance in one day. So I show up where I'm supposed to be on that day, and then when I get home at 9:30 tomorrow morning, I will be in full Halloween mode and all the things for my children. But I think you have to show up, and I think that you have to find a way to keep yourself energized. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, your presence is key.
I love that quote. I'm going to start using that. That's good. Abby, so I know you also recently just celebrated 10 years, and you celebrated with the dress that kind of put you first on the map. It was featured in Southern Living so many years ago, and you sort of reinterpreted it. Can you talk to me about a little bit of consistent growth versus an overnight success? I feel like, we were talking about social media. Sometimes that makes it seem like things happen overnight. And yes, that one dress kind of put you on the map, but it's been this consistent growth, right?
Yes. This is such an important thing to remember no matter what you do for work or what you do for your family, is like putting one foot in front of the other every single day and showing up and being present. And Morgan, I just love you because you are so alive. Like just being in it and like enjoying the journey to get to where you're going and not comparing your endpoint with somebody else's endpoint is something I have to remind myself all the time, because yes, you can have like a special moment to spark something exciting and inspiring for a customer that turns into a business, but then you also have to do all of the work to actually deliver what you inspired people to think you were, so it's really special to get that special moment that starts your business, whatever it is, or that first customer. But I think showing up for her every day, showing up for your team every day, and constantly like doing better than you did the day before or the year before, and always looking at that as your measure of growth rather than kind of an endpoint. Well, 10 years later, you'll look back and be like, oh my gosh, I never thought I could get where I am now, but it was unthinkable 10 years ago. So a roundabout way to say that, just like being in the moment and being present and looking at where you've come is really helpful in propelling you forward. And it's been a fun ride.
So I'd love to talk with you about your brand and a connection to places. Okay, I know that, for example, you lived in Washington, D.C. for a while. You're in Singapore now, and that's sort of what inspired the brand. You couldn't find clothes that you had created them what you couldn't find. And then obviously the clothes are produced in India, and you're from there. So can you talk a little bit about these special places and the connection of place to the brand?
So before I started the brand, when I was living in the US, I traveled a little bit, and then after moving to Singapore, I had a job, and my favorite thing to do, get the paycheck and then travel. So we did travel a lot, and just getting inspired from all these places I was traveling, but like you said, so the problem was I did a lot of fashion all my life, and in Singapore I had issues just finding nice clothes that were not luxury brands. So either you would get a nice silhouette, if you travel to Bali, you would get some nice clothes, but then the fabric was not good. Or something, it wasn't just good quality clothes with a nice silhouette and a beautiful print. So I thought maybe I had some time in between jobs, and I thought maybe I should just start my own collection. And I did. It took a year of finding what you're really good at. I think I told you, so my first collection was disaster. It was all over the place, and I didn't know where to sell. I mean, I was new in Singapore, and I was like, where do you even start? And then, because of the travel and my roots, because I grew up in India, I thought maybe I should try. So India is quite famous for hand embroideries or everything handmade. And then so I started playing with this block printing technique, which is century-old technique of printing, which is stamp printing. And I really found my, I guess, my passion, I would say, because I started playing it in a different way than what it was done. And then I designed my second collection a year later, and I did a show in Singapore. So the second collection was every collection I've done is from either I've traveled somewhere or something I'm feeling in that season. I think last time I told you it was from all the diving, and then this new collection that I'm doing is going back to my roots, so it's inspired from India, from Jaipur, and then there's one from Italy, Amalfi Coast and stuff. So it's just, I'll take those prints and make these little blocks, wooden blocks that we stamp on fabric, which will have elements of where I've traveled in the past or what I'm feeling at the moment.
Definitely. Travel, I think, inspires so many people. And
For all of us.
yeah, and a lot of us work because we want to travel, right? That's kind of what keeps us working, is to be able to travel. Molly, I think of your brand and I think of color. And I know sometimes fall and winter is hard to add color to. I feel like I lean more towards browns and blacks. And do you have any tips for adding color to your wardrobe, color to your life?
Yes, I mean, just do it. But, we're actually renovating our house right now, and my husband would have a black, white, and gray home if it were up to him, and I would have our house looking like this, everywhere. So, that's been an interesting exercise of marriage. But, I think, with color, I mean, as I've never been scared of color, I understand that, like, for many of people in the world, like, color can be an intimidating thing or a scary thing, but I think, you can start small. Like, I mean, even our collections, even something that I, love even about our fall and holiday collections is they are so colorful. They might be a bit more toned down, or maybe not, but, we something that, one of my favorite parts of the design process is coming up with these, like, sort of unexpected color palettes and combinations. And I think, you can do that beyond just design. You can do that in your closet. I love accessorizing with a pop of color. I mean, I feel like you look at, the bags I have, and I don't know if I have a single brown bag. I think, I have maybe 5 pink ones, and, a red and a citron, and, I feel like every time, even for me who loves color, when I've gone to buy those, I have had the thought of, like, this maybe isn't practical, like, am I gonna actually wear this? But then I end up going for if you scroll my Instagram, it's that same citron purse in every single photo for the last, 3 years. And so I think just kind of diving in and knowing that there really is no wrong answer. Like, if you like the color, if you like throwing on, a royal blue with a pink and red dress, then just do it and own it. And color very much so brings me joy, and I think it has the power to bring joy. There's a reason if you Google colors, they all have different meanings and feelings, and so I do think color is powerful. And it's just kind of taking those small steps and adding them in, in little pieces here and there, or just going for it too, and this dress is part of our fall collection, and I love to throw on a boot and even like a brown jacket or like a little, black fur or something, and it to me that feels very much winter appropriate, but
Morgan, you have new launches just about every week. I'm always so inspired when I pull up my Instagram and I see all these new styles. How do you stay creative?
So we actually built a factory in downtown LA, and I think because we have a production team of over 40 full-time workers there, where I'm down there with them multiple times a week. There's so much happening that happens in real time. You don't design something, send it off in a tech pack, and wait weeks or months, even sometimes, to receive it, because it happens in real time. It is just this giant burst of excitement constantly, and you can edit in real time. And so even though there is, of course, the other side of our business that does take longer, we also started using a new factory in India about the same time as Molly, and it's really been a great lesson in patience this past year. But I think that I'm so inspired by that and the real-time work, and then I'm incredibly inspired, I sort of mentioned this earlier, by our customers. And seeing them in the clothes and receiving DMs with, I wore this to, my rehearsal dinner, I wore this to my daughter's graduation, and the multi-generation that we see wearing Guru is so inspiring, and just wanting to build on that. And then I'm super textile driven. So seeing, touching, feeling fabrics is always going to excite me.
I mean, I just am so inspired by the hat
This is
here. It's gorgeous. Abby, I know that you were part of so many people's special days, like women wear your dresses to attend weddings or mother of the bride, special events, things like that. What's it like being part of that? And how do the special details that are part of your designs, how do they play into that?
Yeah, being a part of people's memorable moments in life is probably what gets me up in the morning. I love getting pictures and DMs from people. I also, I just love a mother of the bride and a mother of the groom. I feel like I remember I made my mom's mother of the bride dress for my own wedding and my husband's mother's dress. And it's a really special moment. I think in general, she doesn't get as much attention as she should. I think it's a huge milestone, so I think that it's gonna make me tear up, but I feel like she deserves so much confetti around her and love and support and people telling her she's gorgeous. So it will serve her. We also sell dresses to women who are not mothers of the bride, but I think that's a really important piece of the pie that we want to be known for, is just being that attainable luxury brand for that woman. So it's really something that makes me feel fulfilled.
Certainly. And actually my mom, for my rehearsal dinner, wore one of your dresses, and then my mother-in-law for our wedding wore one of your dresses. So they definitely are great.
I think I saw those photos. Yeah. You looked gorgeous.
Thank you.
And so did they.
So I would love to talk to you about slowing down in this fast-paced world. So, with AI, with social media, but we talked about, the block print, which is such an old, form of art by these amazing artisans. Tell me a little bit about that balance of, being present on social and this fast-paced world, but then holding on to something like the tradition of block print.
Yeah, I guess with block print, for me, it's easy to slow down. The process itself is really slow. So I have to make the design, I have to draw the sketch of the print I want, and then the wood carver has to carve it in a piece of wood. And then it needs to dry for a few days. And then we need to make ink and then stamp it one by one on every single dress. So that process is slow, and it is slow fashion. But with the fast pace, I think we said, so with that form of technique, you just have to hire more people or take more time to develop it. But personally, I think this year has been so fast. It's just flown by in a jiffy. And I feel what I do is I just have to sit back and say what is important, what task to take on, and if something doesn't happen, you know what, it's not the end of the world. So I have to keep reminding myself that it'll happen, it'll happen. If it doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah.
And just keep yourself grounded and then just look back at your child and be like, okay, she's cute. Let me spend more time with her.
That's so sweet. Molly, I kind of got a similar question for you. I know we're around the same age, and so I saw this thing on Instagram recently about how our generation, like, we've seen everything from VHSs through MP3s to now, like, technology with us all the time. How's your brand using it to help?
That's a great question. I feel like it's a lot of trial and error and learning, and I mean, we're certainly not the most tech-forward business. I think I'm sure there are many things we could and should be taking advantage of that we're just not, because I'm not a tech person at all. But I think, it can be an amazing tool when you use it to your advantage. I mean, everything from, AI, even just going on ChatGPT and asking it a question. If I maybe don't know something, or need some numbers run really fast. I think there are ways that technology today can really make things efficient, but I also think, there's still this great importance of like keeping the humanity behind our brand and behind who we are. So, even if we are doing all these crazy things on Instagram, like keeping the person behind the brand and that human connectivity, I think that is quickly like drifting away in our society. And I mean, similar to what I was saying about our partnership with Dillards, I think it's so important to have that story and kind of this brand world beyond just creative ways. Like, yes, it would be amazing if we had an AI try-on service on our website. Like, that would be great. But I also think there's still value in Morgan doing her try-on videos every day. Showing you how to style the clothes and wear the clothes. An AI bot is maybe not going to do that in the same way that Morgan is with her brand. So yeah. Willing that out there. Yeah. Well, could save you some major time. No, they did it right. But I think it's a balance, and there are certainly ways to use it to your advantage, but also I think it can be very easy to hide behind the screen and focus all on digital and having that brand presence, having these moments to be in person with all of you. AI and technology doesn't do that, and I think that is still immensely valuable for us as a brand and always will be.
Definitely. I love what you said there, and I think one thing that I always hear is with AI, it's all about relationships. Like, they can't replicate that. Like, that's something that you need to show up and be part of. So keeping that to your core and your connection.
And I would like to add the design too, as a designer, because my husband is a professor in AI. So we have huge arguments. And he uses, his students use ChatGPT and whatnot. And then sometimes I'll be stuck with a color. For me, I find it very difficult a lot of times when I'm designing a new collection to what color to match with a certain background. So it's like, just ask ChatGPT, just ask. No, then that removes me from the design process. But I would say one thing I used it recently for, we did a photo shoot, and then I forgot to shoot one dress on the model, and then I just asked, my intern did, because I don't know how to use it. We used that model and put that dress we didn't shoot with the molds and it just started out like that, and that saves you time. But I feel from the design aspect of things, you still need that personal touch. If your customers follow you for your brand, they'll still see that and they'll still appreciate your brand. I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I know we want to shop. So quick questions for all of you ladies to wrap it up. One is, what's a legacy that you hope to leave, like have your brand leave with? And then what's next? So we'll keep it really short though, so that we can go and shop. Morgan, you want to start?
I mentioned family earlier. I think that it was really important for Brett, my husband, and our business partners to bring manufacturing as much as we can back to the U.S. We know it's just a component of our brand. You can't make everything here, but it's incredible to watch, and it allows us to take chances and to use deadstock fabrics in ways that are using beautiful vintage buttons and textiles that have been abandoned. And I think that there's really something to how you make your product, how you treat your team, and how that makes your customers feel ultimately to be buying into not just a piece of clothing, but the story that's behind it. So I hope that is a part of our legacy. What's next is two pretty exciting things. We have an entire collection of fine leather goods coming out in early January. So that's a big step for us, a whole new category. And then in terms of authenticity and the way I've always wanted our brand to be and the way I've always been publicly, I'm very open about being bipolar. And I have a book coming out next year. It's a memoir, and we're so excited about it. It's very honest, raw, but also a fun way to talk about the journey, if it can be fun, so that it's not scary. And it's called Bipolar Blonde. So be on the lookout for that in 2026.
I can't wait. I asked Morgan, I heard a sneak peek about the book, so I was like, can we tell everyone now? So I'm so excited to be in the book. Abby, what about you?
Yes. So the legacy for my brand, I think, is first and foremost to bring women confidence when they get dressed up for special occasions. I think there's a lot of like scary moments when you have to shop for a dress and you're used to wearing work clothes or leggings and getting out of your comfort zone. So I think just making a lasting impression on women, maybe if they have a great experience with us and they feel amazing at their special events and all the photos that they have, it makes it easier and more fun for them to do it again, because I do think dressing up is a really important part of expressing ourselves and through clothes and color, makeup, and all the fun things we get to do as women. So I think that's something really important to me, and then also for those pieces that people buy to live long enough to be passed down, hopefully, to their daughters. I got so many beautiful things from my grandma when she passed away, and I was a seamstress, so I kind of reinvented them and wore them. And I still have a lot of her handbags, and so I think it's really special connection from a mother to daughter or to grandchild to pass down your things and you can be born. So I think that's really important to me. What's next? Loaded question. One step at a time. But we also did a big retail expansion last year. So really getting really close to our customers in all of our stores. We have a store in Dallas, Texas, and Charleston, South Carolina, very close to Morgan store. And we just opened a pop-up in Atlanta, but we have 2 stores in Atlanta. So getting to spend time with the customer in the store. I started off doing custom dressmaking, so being with that customer again, I think is really important. So I'm really focusing on that, and you'll have to follow our Instagram to see what else is next. New launches.
I think as far as legacy goes, mine's kind of similar to Abby, but more in the everyday than those special occasions. So, like I said earlier, one of our mantras is getting dressed should be fun, and really at the core of our business, like we just want to create pieces that make women, feel confident in what they're wearing and bring joy to you and your wardrobe. I think in talking about just kind of all the unknowns in life, and there is so much out of our control, but getting dressed each day and picking what you're going to wear and leaving your house and that is something that you get to have control over. And so we get to be a small part of that and contribute to making you feel that joy and that confidence leaving the house. And then bonus when you get stopped on the sidewalk and for someone to give you a compliment how amazing you look. That is definitely what keeps me going and what I hope will be the lasting impression of the Crosby brand. And then as far as what's next, this year has, I won't lie, been a crazy one, just with all of the tariffs and everything. I feel like there's just been so much at a macro level going on that we've been navigating, probably all of us have been. So excited to maybe just get a little more settled from all of that. We've already, I'm working on fall 2026 right now, so just lots of new fun stuff coming next year. I too have an India-inspired collection coming out next summer for my travels there. So and I think one thing that I'm trying to focus on too is just kind of bringing myself to the forefront of the brand a bit more and being present, meeting our customer where we can in person, or even if it is digitally, you know, how do I make that connection with more of you? So, yeah.
Love that. Super excited. Leslie?
I think I agree with you guys. It's like for us, as a brand, the legacy has to be. I also design clothes thinking if someone walks out with a Mumbai dress or an outfit, they should feel confident and feel good about themselves. And even if they didn't imagine that would suit them, when they wear it, like, oh, actually, that looks nice on me. And then I think for me, the legacy is also keep doing with our factory. We started with 5 people who were on $200, $300 salary a month, and now they have a car and a house. And so just keep doing, and then, you know, with the team, and keep doing that. And then lastly, I would like my daughter to look at my clothes when she grows up and say, oh, I would wear that. We'll see. Might not happen.
Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to Dillards, to these wonderful, talented ladies. And
Can I ask you a question? Now, if I go to Dillards, are you just all scattered throughout the store, or is there one area where you all are?
the Coterie shop on their website, and in the store there's a section. Yes. Yes, good question though. But now happy shopping. You guys can all shop now.
Thank you so much for listening to the Preppy Podcast. I hope this put a little prep in your step for the day. Please subscribe, rate, and review on wherever you listen to your podcast. And follow along with @the Preppy Podcast on social media.